Which character has the best action figures? Batman or Spider-Man? That's the question we're trying to answer today by pitting the two most popular comic book heroes in the world against each other and looking at their action figure representation across different brands and price points, from entry level to imports and even a few wild cards. So who do you think is going to win? Let's talk about it. Batman was the first of these two to hit the scene with his first appearance in Detective Comics number 27 all the way back in 1939. And while there have been other iterations of this appearance in action figure form, it was most recently brought to life by McFarlane Toys with this awesome figure featuring the now retired pink gloves and a really nice wired soft goods cape. Plus, the overall appearance right from the very beginning for Batman, he was spooky. It wouldn't be until 23 years later in 1962 when Spider-Man would make his first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15. This figure, of course made by Hasbro as part of the Marvel Legends line, features the same web wings that Spider-Man had on his costume in that first comic book appearance. With the exception of the Maximum series, this is one of the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures out there, and like Batman, they really nailed the design of this character right out of the gate. Both of these heroes then surged in popularity among millennials growing up in the 90s, thanks in large part to their respective animated series runs. Two of the best cartoons ever made, with incredible theme songs, amazing animation styles, and storylines that really bridged the gap for non-comic book readers. Marvel Legends and McFarlane have both immortalized those shows in their figure lines with a wide selection of character designs, heroes, villains, and side characters, allowing collectors to fill their shelves with memories from those legendary cartoons. And of course, these two characters account for, I think, the most appearances in live-action films throughout the last 3 decades, with multiple adaptations, recasts, and iterations of the characters. And pretty much all of those iterations can be added to your collection with offerings from basically all of the major brands and more figures coming out seemingly on a daily basis. If you want to collect Spider-Man or Batman, there is an embarrassment of riches to be had in the comic book, animated, and live-action lines of figures. And even if you only collected these two characters, you'd still have a pretty diverse collection, as crazy as that sounds. But who has the best figures? Let's start with the entry-level, at least collector entry-level, McFarlane and Marvel Legends. I personally think that Marvel Legends makes better figures in general, and McFarlane is losing the DC license in about a year or so. However, even though I'm not the biggest McFarlane collector, when I walk through the toy aisle, I see so many different styles and designs of Batman figures. Any comic book iteration you can think of probably has a figure associated with it, while Hasbro doesn't seem to have that level of variety with Spider-Man, even though they do have a lot. Obviously, they're making other different figures, and I'm definitely not advocating that they only release variations of Spider-Man, which is seemingly what McFarlane does with Batman, but for this low-cost portion of the head-to-head, I've got to give it to Batman. And I almost can't believe I'm saying that because of McFarlane's scale, which never bothered me too much until I made this video, but I'm still giving it to McFarlane because of the variety. Now, when it comes to imports, things start to get a little interesting. Let's look at SHFiguarts. They've dabbled in the Batman live-action realm, but I never see people talking about these figures. Meanwhile, SHF is killing it with Spider-Man figures, especially their Spider-Verse line, and I've heard good things about their No Way Home figures, so SHF goes to Spider-Man. Likewise, Revoltech is going to go to Spider-Man. So many people think the Revoltech Spider-Man 1.0 or 2.0 are the best Spider-Man figures you can buy. And I've also heard from people that the only Revoltech Batman, excluding the new Batman Beyond, which is the Arkham Knight Batman, is the worst Revoltech figure on the market. I kind of like it, but I'll acquiesce to my comment section on this one, so Revoltech is of course going to Spider-Man. Lastly, as far as imports, we've got to talk Mafex. Mafex has made some incredible Spider-Man action figures. The Spider-Toby Mafex is one of my favorite figures I unboxed this year. Mafex 185 Spider-Man is a classic in the collector community, as is the 2099, Scarlet Spider, etc. But what else are you giving me? Mafex Batman, on the other hand, has a good range of figure designs and styles, specific comic book looks pulled directly from the pages, and live action stuff. But there is one area we haven't touched on in this video that's a catalyst for both of these characters, regardless of the medium, and that's their rogues gallery. Mafex has a Venom, but the Batman lines, they've got Jokers, that awesome looking Bane, Riddler. The Hush series in general pushes Batman way out in front of Spider-Man when it comes to Mafex. Sorry, Spidey. So right now we're kind of tied, and of course this is going to come down to personal preference. I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but let's talk Wildcards. I think it's pretty well established that I'm not the biggest Mezco fan. I'm still looking for time to unbox the Mezco Doc Ock, and maybe that will sway me a little, but the only Mezco figures I've ever been truly excited about were the recently announced Batman the Animated Series, Batman and Joker. I've got them pre-ordered, they look incredible, and compared to the Mezco Spider-Man and Green Goblin, I don't mean to yuck anybody else's yum, but I'm giving the point to Batman. And the last wild card, the InArt Dark Knight Batman. I cannot wait to get my hands on this figure, but it looks like it could be one of the best action figures ever made. So Batman clearly has my interest, my attention, and for the sake of this video, the completely pointless and unimportant crown of having the best action figures available. But that's just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours. Let me know who you think has the best action figures ranked by different brands. Let's have a friendly, respectful debate in the comments. And if you like this kind of video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more action figure content.